Hey, Alvernia community. We have a special alumni spotlight this month. Many of you know him as professor, but more recently, he has moved into a new, more exciting role here at Alvernia. More to come on that soon. But I would like to welcome Dr. Travis Berger here with us. Welcome. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks for having me. I'm excited to be able to share and talk with you.
I can't wait to learn more about you and what you're doing in your new exciting role here. But let's just kick it off with starting by telling me all the degrees that you have.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, so I have a undergraduate degree in administration, criminal justice, with a minor in sociology from Penn State University. I have my master's in education from Alvernia, and then I have my doctoral degree from Indiana University of Pennsylvania in administration and leadership studies.
All right, you are well educated. So after graduation, I guess we could start with your undergrad. What was your career goal after graduation, and did you know you wanted to get your master's?
Yeah, so interestingly, as an undergrad, I thought I had things figured out, Danielle. So I happened to be talented in soccer and played soccer at Penn State University, and I was doing really, really well. So there was a career path for me for the MLS. The MLS was just starting out at that time, so I was really hyper focused on pursuing a professional career in soccer. But in my wisdom, I realized that hey, it's the 1% of 1% that are able to play in the MLS. So I had a backup. I had to get backup plan, and my backup plan was to go to the Marine Corps and officer candidate school because I wanted to then do the JAG Corps. So a matter of fact, I spent summer between my sophomore and junior year at Quantico, Virginia, with the United States Marine Corps doing their officer candidate school program. That was fabulous, and as that was going on, things really kicked off with my soccer career as well. I mean, led the Big Ten in goal scoring. Everything was going well. My senior year, we were preseason ranked number one in the nation, and we went over to Europe for our preseason. And in one of the games over there, I had a Joe Theismann-esque injury, a compound fracture of my left leg, where everything came out. It was pretty bad. I don't really remember it. They just came out on the field, gave me a shot a shot to knock me out. So that put a pause on my soccer career. But I was like, I'm smart, so I did well academically. I had the Marine Corps background, backup plan, but I got medically disqualified because I had a 5-inch metal plate and 3 successive surgeries on that leg. So Harrisburg gave me a medical DQ. So then I ended up coming back home and trying to figure it out. So I had both of my career plans got kiboshed with one injury.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that, right? Yeah. But I guess my career goals, right, to get back to it, I wanted to pursue soccer. Great. If not, I wanted to go to law school and really wanted to do the JAG Corps with the United States Marine Corps. One injury sidetracked me on both of those.
Wow. So clearly you had a whole other path. So
Yeah.
starting from there, how has your career evolved over time? And I guess were there any other, I mean, those are some pretty big unexpected turns from two
Yeah.
career paths you wanted to go down. So how has that shaped you and your career and how has that evolved?
Yeah, so it's amazing. As I talk with everybody, life happens, right? It's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. So after I got back home from my undergraduate, I was just kind of licking my wounds, unsure of where I was going to go. And my high school soccer coach plucked me up and said, "Hey, there's a coaching job at Alvernia College at the time." And at that time, right back in like 2001, I never even heard of Alvernia College. It isn't the regional, right, comprehensive university that it is today. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do assistant soccer coaching. So I hopped in, did the assistant soccer coaching thing. I said, if I'm going to be an assistant soccer coach, I want to get my master's in education. So I had the opportunity to get my master's in education. And in that two year span, I fell in love with higher education. I fell in love with Alvernia University, our core Franciscan values. And from there, a fortuitous stop down at my office by a Dr. Scott Ballantyne, who came down and he's like, hey, Travis, you want to come and be a professor with the business faculty? I said, yeah, sure, Scott, I'll do that, right? So I just jumped in, and from there, right, I was able to become a tenured faculty member, associate professor of business and leadership. I was able to found the Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership program. I was assistant of the Leadership Studies programs, co-chair of the Heater School of Business, inaugural dean of the College of Business Communication and Leadership. I was faculty council president during COVID in the presidential transition. So I really took a shining to Alvernia. Really wanted to add my value, strengths and talents that I had. And now I am currently and happily serving as the inaugural Applied Leadership Fellow. And I'm also still teaching, right, as an associate professor of business and leadership. And just if I can take a second, right? So as careers do happen, Danielle, as I was doing all of these things, trying to get tenure, working through earning my doctoral, my PhD program, I had penned a piece on servant leadership, and out of the blue, the vice president of human resources for Exide Batteries, which is right here in Reading, they have a plant here in Reading. Their headquarters at the time was in Atlanta. Read the article and was like, "Hey, Travis, you want to come and do a consulting gig on servant leadership at our Exide Battery factory?" I was like, "Well, I've never done that." I said, "Yeah, sure, let's go." Right. So I have all of these research skills from my doctoral studies. I went in, I did program assessment and delivered a 12-month training program. And I fell in love with consulting and advising. And from there, right, I founded my own leadership and management advisory firm, Vide Consulting Group. And that's been going strong for 14 plus years, starting from penning a paper on servant leadership. And we're really focused on strategy and transformation, leadership and people, and operational excellence. So it's been 14 years of working with large publicly traded corporations down to your mom and pop shop, and government agencies such as the PA Department of Labor and Industry. I did their whole strategic plan. So that was an unforeseen career opportunity that was there. I loved it. I love making a difference. So I hopped on board with creating my own management and leadership advisory firm.
Wow. So it really sounds like Alvernia basically kicked off everything for you career-wise, and truly this is where you were meant to be. I mean, everybody can attest to this who's ever had you as a professor or who knows you, just the knowledge and the passion that you have and sharing that. And I didn't know you even had a consulting firm. So that's great. How do you manage your time between here and doing that?
Yeah, well, so it's a value add, right? So the ability to be able to work with all sorts of different firms for 14 years gives me a real insight into what companies are facing, what are all the transformations, the struggles. I mean, it's been a wild world, right, with regards to COVID, going through the COVID, then you have the supply chain with all the geopolitical situations that we're facing right now, and then AI, right, is really transforming how businesses operate and how we think. But if I'm not in the game and I'm not talking with business owners, executive leadership teams, talking with teams that work internationally as well as locally, I would not really know all of the real struggles that they're facing, all of the opportunities that they're facing. So I'm able to take that and then share that with all of the students that I work with. And then I always say, hey, we're in a partnership here as we're co-learning together. Here's what I'm seeing to be able to really apply what we're learning in the classroom. So, that consulting has really helped with my research, with my teaching, and my teaching and research has really helped with my consulting. And I think that's why a lot of business faculty at a lot of your Ivies, other schools do consulting in addition to teaching, because it lets you be in the game and know what's going on the front lines.
Yeah, and it makes sense too to all the different people that you're meeting and working with to connect students to those people too for opportunities for them as well and share what you're learning. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's the other right value add is the networking, the ability to be able to know everybody in the community, organizations, businesses, who they need, what they need, from internships to employees to even at the executive level, right? Hey, I know this Vernon graduate that's running this successful business, right? Maybe they have an opportunity to go to a different level at a different scaled organization. So it's really cool. And you're right, Danielle. It all started here at Alvernia. And it's really, sounds cliche, I suppose, but it was the core Franciscan values that drew me. I never thought, right, starting as an assistant coach, I thought I was just coming to get my degree and then I was going to move on. But this place has been nothing but a absolutely wonderful place to build and develop and have a career.
That's awesome. So in going to your Alvernia career here, um,
Yeah.
for those that missed it, can you retell us the title of your new role, um, and then kind of what that role looks like and the things you'll be doing in this role? Like, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so there's a real opportunity. So the role is right, applied leadership fellow, and it really takes what we were just talking about. All of the things that the research knows, right, is I'm going to be providing a bridge from theory, from what the academic world, right, is really doing from the research perspective, and then okay, so what? How does that apply in the real world, right? And for everybody, for younger alumni to seasoned alumni that are running businesses or in the C-suite, and everybody in between, right? I want to be able to bridge that gap and say, hey, here's what the research is showing, and here's the so what. Here's how that can apply to you in your career. This is how you can be rethinking about leadership in a different way. These are the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you need to be facing. Here's the challenges, right? Here's how you can leverage AI, all of those different things. So I really look forward to in different platforms, different mediums, connecting with alumni to give them, right, knowledge, skills, abilities, different ways to think about things to help them. So it's a value add to our alumni who, right,
Mhm.
invested in their learning and their education here at Alvernia. We want to be able to give back. And I think with all of the clutter that's surrounding leadership, right, with all of these different theories, all the different approaches, all of the really good, right, top selling business books, and, hey, these are the great ways to lead. Let's boil that all down and really give you tangible things that the research has shown really drives value and will really help our alumni, their careers, right, add value to their communities, add value to their organizations, help them grow and develop, and help them grow and develop the people that they're working with. So as you can see, probably I'm super excited about this opportunity to connect with our alumni and to be able to show them how leadership is applied and the tools and skills that they need to be able to do well in their careers.
That's awesome. So in going through all of that with how this
Yeah.
will benefit alumni, can you give like maybe a small preview into what does that look like for them? Can they sign up for things to be a part of? How will they be able to find out about this? And we'll provide more information for all the alumni listening in newsletters and emails to come. So look for that. But just give us like a little teaser of what this might mean.
Yeah, sure. So there's going to be some briefs in the newsletter, right? So they're going to be able to look about some applied leadership tips and information, and to be able to say, hey, here's what the theory's saying, and here's these tangible things that you can do right now in your career. So those will be coming out in the newsletter. We're thinking about having a more involved leadership brief, which is like 2 to 3 pages that people that are reading the newsletter are like, oh, wow, this is really, really useful. They can opt in and then get a 2 to 3 page, right, summary on, hey, here's the latest trend or approach to leadership that they would find applicable to themselves. We're also looking to be able to explore a weekly sign. They can opt in for an email, right, for a 30, a quick 2 page thinking point on how can you apply the core Franciscan values to leadership, which I think is really valuable, especially right now, but always valuable. And then for people that are alumni that have businesses or young alumni who want to be able to engage more, there'll be coaching opportunities, seminar opportunities, and the ability to me to work with them in a more meaningful way. So it's exciting. We look forward to reimagining how we work with our alumni at Alvernia University and helping them in that capacity.
Yeah, I mean, super exciting work. I'm so excited to work with you on some of this stuff and to include our alumni on this. And I think they'll find so much value in this. I know I will personally.
Oh, that's
So,
good. Yeah, that's
so
the goal. That's the goal.
well, so that leads into my next thing. So,
Yeah.
what do you really want alumni or people to get out of this? Like, what is your goal in this role? If you were to just summarize it into one thing, like, what is your main goal or point you want to get across to people?
Yeah, the main goal for the Applied Leadership Fellow is to give them the tools and the abilities and skills that will allow them to add value in their career. And as you know, Danielle, right, as you're in leadership and as you're in organizations change, and you have to be continuously learning and moving, right? New technologies change, situations change, context, everything changes. Where you're at in your career, right? From being an individual level contributor to being, right, a director or a supervisor, then to be a manager, and then being a manager of managers, right? And then get to the C-suite. All of those are different transitions, and all of them need different knowledge, right? Skills, abilities, and behaviors to be successful. And I really want to be able to help people navigate those, right, career transitions effectively so that they can make a positive difference.
Right. And that's the goal. That's, again, like you said,
Yep.
part of our Franciscan values and who we are. So, in talking a lot about leadership,
Yeah.
because you've been involved in it in so many aspects, being a leader, talking to leaders, how do you personally define leadership?
Oh, thanks for asking. That's a softball question. I love it, right? So so the way that so in my research and coming out, right? So leadership is a dynamic process, right? It's not a person, right? It's not a title, it's a dynamic process. And dynamic meaning it's always changing. And it's a dynamic process that involves three things, right? It involves leaders, it involves followers, and it involves the context, right? And those three things are interacting to produce direction, alignment, and accountability, right? In order for an organization to achieve long-term superior organizational performance. And at the end of the day, right, if people are able to think about leadership in this broad perspective, they'll understand that every single day, everybody is both a leader and a follower, right? And maybe as we go through here, we'll redefine follower, because a follower isn't just a sheep or a yes person or, right, go along to get along, right? But everybody has to be both a leader and a follower. So for
Yeah.
people to think of themselves as a high performer, somebody who's adding the right value at the right level, given their role at the time, that's a career changer, right? And that's the big overarching framework for leadership that I have, right, used, that I'm applying in my research as well as in my applied work. And it really resonates, and people really find it useful for their careers.
I love how you said that everybody is a leader and a follower, because I
Right.
feel like so many people don't think like that. They think of it as two different terms and you're either one or the other. But in one day, realistically in any job, you're playing both roles at any given moment. It could switch back and forth just like that.
100%. And we're talking at the C-suite level too, right? Because yes,
Hmm.
they're leading, but they also have boards that they have to work with and be able to be responsive to. So you're leading and following and understanding, right? Hey, if I'm leading, given this role, what do I need to add at this level at this time to be able to, right, make a positive impact? And the same thing with being a follower, right? A follower is somebody that's critically thinking, engaged, and is really trying to make sure, right, that the leader in the organization is moving forward. So when you're following, right, hey, are you right? Are you a passive follower? Or are you an engaged follower, really trying to help and support the leader and help and support the organization? And that takes a whole different set of knowledge, skills, abilities, characteristics, behaviors, right, to be able to do that. So, thinking of yourself as a high performer, which means, right, hey, when I'm in this role, I'm going to add value. When I'm following, hey, I'm adding value. And to be able to know that they're interchangeable and you're interchanging throughout the day, right, is really critical and really important. So thanks for calling that out.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate that. And as you're talking
Yeah.
through all of this, it just gets me so excited because I'm like, oh, I could ask you so many different questions right now about leadership, but that's the whole point of what you're doing, right? Is we're going to
There
offer
you
these
go.
types of things for alumni to ask questions and learn more and how can they apply this in their own lives and their everyday lives, whether it's personally or professionally, really, because you're a leader and follower in both.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yep, absolutely. And it's really cool. And, I envisioned this applied leadership fellowship, right, as being the ability. So servant leadership isn't right or wrong. It's really useful. And you need to understand that so that you have a different tool in your toolbox for when you need that. Transformational, it's not a right or wrong. It's not the only right be all, but those are really important to understand. So is, right, transactional leadership, all of these different, right, approaches and theories. They're not right or wrong. They just give you different skills to be able to understand where you need to be applying what to be able to add value. And that's what the overarching kind of umbrella of my understanding of leadership allows you to do, right? Is, hey, I'm not just going to subscribe to one approach to leadership. It's all of these that allow you to be able to become more robust and more valuable to your organization if you understand those. So I'm excited. there's a lot to add. So I hope the alumni are excited and take advantage and tell me what they want to know so that you and I and Dan Hartzman can work together to get the alumni what they need and what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice would you give to a current student who is maybe unsure about what their next steps are?
Yeah. So are we talking an undergraduate student or a graduate student, or are you just thinking in general student?
Just in general, student, if they're
Yeah.
just unsure about what they want to do next.
Yeah. So, an interesting thing is a lot of people are always envisioning that they want to go to this next level or do this next thing, but they're not doing what they currently are engaged in. They're not doing that well. So then they're always thinking, hey, geez, I'm in this role or I'm in this position, or hey, I'm studying as an undergrad, right? And geez, I don't know what I want to do in the future. But they're not living in the present and really doing what they need to be doing currently. So if they're an undergraduate student who's studying and worried about, hey, geez, is there going to be a job for me? Is there going to be a career for me? What's AI, right? AI doing? But if they're not engaged and embraced in learning the material that they have, they're not taking advantage of internships, externships. They're not taking advantage of the Opaque Institute, all of these different things that are available to them. Then they're going to be in trouble when it's time for a career. So do well and focus on what you need to be doing now. And the same thing with people that are going for their master's degree or working currently, right? Well, hey, do really well in your master's degree, learn, understand that theory is just different lenses to do that, but add value in your current job. You're not better than the current job that you're in. Show that you can have an impact and that you're making a positive change in people that you're working with, in the organization, that you're giving, right, a helping hand to others below. That's exciting because that's going to give then people are going to recognize, right? Oh, wow, that person is really taking full advantage of this. And the byproduct is you're making a positive difference. And then opportunities are going to become available because they want what you're delivering.
Wow, I love that. That was so beautifully said. You are so right.
Oh,
So
yeah,
right.
thanks, Danielle.
So, similar to giving leadership advice, what kind of leadership advice would you give to someone who doesn't see themselves as a leader yet? Whether they're in a leadership position or not, they don't see themselves as a leader.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to our other question, right? And it's really about viewing yourself right differently, right? You're not a title, right? And by the way, if you've taken my MBA or MA, right, titles are important because it's authority, and people move because of titles, right? So I was always one early in my career. I was like, titles don't matter, and then I learned, hey, geez, titles are important because it allows you to influence, and we're influencing to grow and develop people, or we're influencing to be able to make a positive difference in the organization, right? So that's important. And if people are thinking, geez, I'm not a leader now, they probably are. They're probably influencing other people without them knowing. People are probably watching them without them knowing, right? And you don't need that official title to be making that value and to be contributing, right? And I think that gets missed a lot of times, right? So people that don't think they're a leader right now, they probably are, and they don't really know it just because they're not right managing or have a title, but they're leading in a lot of different capacities. So I guess it goes back to just leaning into being a high performer, recognizing that, hey, geez, what is your role right now, and what's the value that you should be adding, and are you adding that value, and are you helping other people, and good things will come out of that.
That is so true because like you said, it is a title, but at the same time, it's how you see yourself and how you're performing. I think sometimes people always think as leaders of being like the highest thing, when in reality, everybody, no matter where you are, can be a leader in different ways. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing. It could be a small impact on a coworker.
Yeah, what absolutely 100%. And that's the same, right? That's the same thing with following. If you wrap everything around, right? Am I adding the right value at the right level given my role at the time? Things are going to be falling into place for people's careers and where their aspirations lie. And the same thing if you're framing everything in the sense of, am I making a positive difference in people's lives, right? Am I helping people? Am I giving people honest feedback? Am I giving people ladders to be able to grow and develop? Am I adding value to the organization, right? And am I adding value to the community? If you frame your work in those lenses, good things will happen. Good things will happen because of the value that you're adding.
Yeah, so true. So true. So we talked a lot about leadership, and I feel like we could talk about leadership forever.
All day.
But um, in getting to know you and your career journey and where it's
Yeah.
led you now and everything you've learned from that, just kind of something fun to end on. Like outside of work, what is one thing that you're really passionate about or that you enjoy doing?
I tell you, yeah. Well, I have four young boys, so they're 12, 10, 8, and 7. They're wonderful. My wife's wonderful. And they've given me the opportunity to get back into coaching. And I absolutely light up when I'm coaching. And the thread through coaching is everything in the world can just melt away. And I'm there with these kids at that age, right? You get a group of 7 or 8 year olds, right? They're just loving the game. They have that pure joy, right? 10 year olds. I mean, it's just awesome. And to be able to get them all fired up and loving the game, whatever sport, right? I happen to be coaching at the time, right? But to love the game and understand what it is to be a good human. I mean, that lights me up. As you can see, I get lit up. And I guess that's the through line in my career, right? I think teaching, right, is helping people identify their strengths, what their growth opportunities are, how to see the world differently. Coaching is teaching, right? It's the same thing. It's being able to help people, right, chase and pursue their personal excellence. And I just light up with that. So to answer your question, when I'm not doing this, I'm out getting 8, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds all fired up and whipping around on the athletic field. And I love coaching.
I love that. I love your passion and everything you do. It just shines through. You can see your passion, no doubt, and you just
Right
love
on.
it.
Thanks, Danielle.
I love that so much. Thank you, Travis. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time and for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much. I know our alumni will learn so much, even those that think they knew you well. I'm sure they learned something. Well, they definitely did because they didn't know you were in this new role.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot more coming out about how our alumni can get involved with Travis and the leadership opportunities and sessions he'll offer, even at some point one-on-one consulting. Make sure you're getting our emails because you'll be able to see, like he said in the newsletter once a month, these tips and tricks. Next month, you'll be able to learn a lot more about what he's doing and get more information on that. So please stay tuned. And we would love to hear your feedback on what types of leadership things you would like to learn more about. So there will be a survey in this month's newsletter where you guys can look and kind of see and answer, what do you want to see? What do you want to learn from this and from Travis? What are you interested in? So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Travis. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you so much for having me, and all the alumni. Please reach out to Danielle, myself. Let us know what you want to learn about, how we can be able to help you. And we're excited to partner in this new journey together. It's exciting. And thanks, Danielle, for having me. That was a fun conversation. I enjoy it.
Great. Thanks so much, Travis. Bye, everyone.
All right, see you, everyone.